you're not getting the, okay, now you're getting the audio.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
And so the next step is. Streaming has already started.
Start recording. Do we have to do that? Okay, broadcast. And start streaming. Okay, there's. Okay.
You looking to see if you get it?
That's what I'm looking for, yeah. Hitting live, but nothing's coming up.
There was a delay the last time, I think.
Yeah, probably.
It's got to be pointed down too.
Okay.
Oops. Yeah, we got,
All right.
we got the back of her head.
Sorry.
You.
All right.
There.
Where's the camera? Okay, yeah, it's going. Okay, step off. There we go.
Okay. Cool. All right, let's start the meeting, the budget workshop for tonight with the pledge to the flag. Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So the budget is pretty much where we were the last time with a couple of changes that I made on it. I listed those changes in the email to everyone. We had already 100,000 out of the reserve, the appropriated fund balance that we put in the DA account when we first started this some time ago. I split that between the DA and the DB, 50K in one and 50K in the other. The result of that is that it changed the tax rates in the townwide and the outside only. Lowered it slightly in the outside rate, and then raised it a little bit in the townwide. So the townwide went from a negative, actually went down 12 cents. And with this change, it goes up 6 cents on the townwide. In the outside, it went from 74 cents increase to 64 cents. So it changed it slightly in two directions by splitting that up between the two, the DA and the DB. I was informed that the way we had the water done before, we had listed originally in the property tax line on the water districts. You can't charge property tax on the water districts. So on advice, I moved that into the unassigned fund balance rather than property tax. So that's a change that was made. Didn't change anything with the overall budget, but it just changed to where that was assigned. There was also an issue with printing. The 2026 fire district wouldn't come out. That's been resolved. And I updated all the 2025 budget actuals on the sheet so you can see where we stand today. It's on those budget sheets where you look at the 2025 actual. You'll see that that's where we are as of the 7th. There's no doubt that more work could be done on this if we had more time. I don't think there's any substantial savings that we can get out of it at this point. Part of the issue is that we still don't understand what goes into all of these. And even though I updated all of the budget to actuals, I'm not sure that we're still caught up on stuff that came in between summer, the resignations, and now, that we're still putting the pieces together on. Things like, I know we're behind on a couple of payments that don't show up, of course, on the budget to actual at this point. So I think while we've made some big changes and we've cut down certainly the budget to a significant portion from where it was, unfortunately, the situation that we've been left in order to stay below the tax cap, we're either going to have to take some more out of the reserve. We're about 97,464 over the cap. The alternatives, we could go through and maybe find another 500 or 1,000 someplace, but that's not going to get us below the tax cap. And I've been through this and through this, and I'll be quite frank, I'm kind of getting to the point where we're running out of time. And when we have more time, we can spend more on the next time we do a budget, which I think we'll probably start on right away almost. So facing us tonight is a decision. If there's any last minute changes that you see that you really want to have on this, the other decision is we could take another 100,000 out of the reserve funds and stay below the tax cap, or we have to file the local law and file with the New York State that will be exceeding it. So at this point, I'll open it up to discussion.
You were talking, you said in the email you're gonna move the 10,000 out of,
I took 20 out from Dale's budget out of the one line that was on DB.
yeah. And then you're gonna put that in, 10 of it into your,
Yeah, there's two things that we need to really look at. I took, having been here the amount of times that I've been, and I think that John will attest to this, we need some more help inside. We had talked about having somebody inside for 10 hours a week at $20 an hour. I'd like to increase that to 20 hours a week. There are so many things that are falling through the cracks here without somebody else to handle them. I am not going to spend the amount of time in here ongoing that I have. And I think we need somebody to pay attention to a lot of things. We haven't even been able to address the website or the Facebook page. There's a number of issues that we really need somebody to pay attention. Filing. The filing system here is non-existent. And that's no reflection on Darlene. That was taken over by others and moved into my office, and it's a mess. I'm not looking to shred documents. I'm trying to put them in an order where we can find them. The other 10K I moved out of the DA 5130.21. We need to invest in a software program, either from EBC or from someone else. We'll need to do some research on that. There's a lot of elements in terms of pay, managing vacation, time off, and a number of other HR issues that we're just not suited to handle at this point. Right now, we're using Margaret and single source way beyond what we contracted for. And that is way more expensive than trying to get an HR program in here. An HR program run us about 8,000 to 10,000. They would come in and do training. And the one that I sent the information to you on is one element that we could look at. I'm not opposed to looking at others. It would interface with the checking program or the payroll program. It would interface with the new time clock that we'll be putting in, so we can manage all of the things that right now are just getting away from us. Retirement, retirement payments, health insurance payments, union dues. There's a long list. And somehow,
Sick days.
Yeah.
You can go right down the list.
we're just not managing them well. And rather than get a full-time accountant in here, I think that taking single source back to what we had hired them for, they're way more expensive than getting a software program in here and part-time help. We got to back off that. It's getting to be, at least the amount of time that single source is spending to try to straighten things out here is getting to be untenable in terms of a budget going forward.
Now, CHPC, do they do something with a software program, or, I mean,
Not on that. They do
No.
things with other stuff, and we can look at other types of software. We have the one that Margaret has put forward and got a quote on. I'm not ready to sign a deal on that, but I think that to put money in the budget and then spend some time doing some research and find the best solution, I'm all about that. So,
I mean, anybody that's worked and gotten a regular paycheck going back 30 years would see how much vacation time they have, how much
Oh, yeah.
whatever, what the deductions are. There's none of that right now. There's no process in place. And there's got to be continuity. It's way too loose. And this would answer a lot of questions. It would put structure into something where there's absolutely no structure now. So,
well, I come up with, for zero tax increase, it's gonna be $1.5 million, which it's impossible to do that now.
that's right.
And, but I think we can get underneath that cap, 100,000. Now, the water, legal in the water, the 3,000, so it's 39,000. Is that, where did that go at the end of the year? Where's that gonna go?
Well, I think that where it's going to go next year and why we put legal and engineering in there is that we're going to have to hire a rural water consultant. There's no way we can get.
Yeah.
Okay. And I would expect that's probably going to run 20 to 30,000, at a minimum, or about there. We'll look at a couple of groups. Again, I'm not fixated on anybody. We have some names. We'll need to present those and have them come and present to the board. I'm not going to make the decision by myself, but we have been struggling. I have been struggling with, Margaret has been struggling with it, and I have trying to find a solution. And that's part of the extra cost that we're getting with single source as they try to sort this out. Quite frankly, they're still struggling with some of the work that LGSS has done for us in the past. They're doing a really good job, but it's, again, above and beyond what we contracted for them. So anything we can do to reduce that, I think, is going to be appropriate, because we put in money next year for single source, but we didn't put in what it will cost us if we don't find another way
Oh, yeah.
to cut
Yeah.
back.
Now, what, that we put 3,000 or 39,000 in the water last year. Now, where's that gonna go? Is that gonna go in?
Well,
It was taxed last year.
Yeah, I don't know what to do with it. This part of working out with the rural water people to have them help us with this. I don't know.
Yeah.
Water is a funny thing, and I just don't know what to do with it, all of it. And
Yeah, I'm understanding it's in the, I mean, we're gonna work on it, but it's already in the water district.
but it's in the budget, and it did get taxed, but it isn't like it's cash. You don't have that money to roll over into the next year.
So that 39,000 we put in last year, where is that gonna go at the end of the year here? We never.
It will probably sit right in water.
So we won't need to tax anymore then, right?
want to go in the water reserve fund?
It'll go in the water reserve fund. And we may have to use more than what we've got put in for this year. I don't know what it's gonna cost us all at this point.
But I think we already, like I said, we put 39,000 in last year. I mean, we shouldn't have, if it's gonna go in the water reserve, it'll be there for legal, right?
Be there for legal and for, I think you're gonna have two things that you're gonna have to have for water. You're gonna have to have a rural water consultant, and then you're gonna have to have some type of engineering work done. So you're gonna have two fees.
So the engineering, wouldn't that be covered under the,
It'll have to come out of water.
yeah, right.
You know,
So that'll be-
I kind of agree with you. The problem, and I'll plead ignorance here. I'm not sure how much this is gonna cost us and what exactly is gonna happen with that money if we don't put more in this coming year. If we don't put it in the budget, you don't have it to use.
So that'll be over the 2 years, we'll be putting $6,000 in each water district for legal.
Yeah.
I think that's way too high.
Okay, here's the problem. So I don't put any in this year.
Mhm.
Then I don't have any legal fees for this year. That's how it works.
Then where's that 39,000 we put in last year?
Well, it'll go back, it'll go into a reserve,
To the water
a
reserve.
water reserve.
So
But
can't that go back into legal?
it doesn't quite work that way. If you don't put it in the budget, and if you look, you'll see that we took money for each of those water districts out of the unassigned fund balance. So if you look under appropriated fund balance for each of these water districts,
Mhm.
we've already taken money out to try to cover some of those things, to offset the rest of it.
I just can't get past we're putting $6,000 in 2 years in each water district. That's just, I've talked to other towns and they don't put any legal in any water districts.
Well, you're gonna have some legal help on this thing. I don't know. If you wanna take it out, we can, but if we get into a bind with it, we don't have any money there.
Are the towns have the same, say, disarray that we have with our water districts?
Oh, I don't know. I didn't get into that with them. I mean, everybody I talked to, they don't have any legal in their water districts.
It doesn't preclude us from doing something in the next budget year to credit it back either, does it?
Yeah.
Huh?
You can't untax it. That's the
That's,
issue.
yeah, that's what I was looking at.
I mean, you know, Ed, if you're really, I'll take it out, but if we get into a situation where we don't have it, then I'm not sure what we do with it.
and then there's 50,000 in contingency. You said half of that, or how much was that you were going to use for legal and that?
It all depends with how much we go beyond where we are. You know, you can't use the contingency that's in the regular fund for water. Any legal work that's done on the water has to get assigned to the water.
Right.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
then, so that would be, some of that would be used for legal also then, that contingency.
On the regular budget,
Mm-hmm.
in case we run over. We put 50 in for legal. I know that's twice what we pay per month. Hopefully we don't have to go beyond that, but I'm hoping there's nothing unforeseen.
Just the carryover from this year could be impact.
Mm-hmm. How about, are we gonna address the issue with arbitration? I mean, is there gonna be a appeal on that if one of them?
My understanding is that you can't. That it's
So
very
It's
limited.
binding arbitration?
Binding arbitration is my understanding. So when I met with Nick yesterday, the lawyer for on this case, and so that hearing is tomorrow at 10 a.m. And my understanding is that it's binding arbitration and it should be resolved by the end of the year. Because I asked how much was this going to go into next year. His feeling was that the hearing should happen tomorrow, that it'll take the judge some time to decide, and then it should be resolved before year's end. So it shouldn't roll into next year. Shouldn't.
So by binding, you mean that it cannot be appealed?
That's my understanding.
Well, I don't know. I was told that they it might be an appeal on it, so I don't know.
My discussion with lawyers was that highly unlikely that you can't appeal by them. You make an agreement to go into it, and that it's binding.
I'm just looking out, I mean, for the, as long as it's final, that's all I'm looking for. 'Cause
Well, you and me
I
both.
don't wanna spend any more legal, and if we spend more legal, it's coming out of the highway.
I don't know how you do that. That's another problem. You can't just move money
Nobody
around
cut
like
something in the
that.
highway after the first of the year, because the taxpayer should not be paying for this at all.
Ed, you're yelling at somebody.
Oh, I'm not yelling, I'm just trying to make
I
a
agree
point.
with you 100%, but the situation is such, you and I didn't create it.
No,
Here we are.
yeah,
Now, we've put 50 in for legal. I hope we don't exceed it. This thing hopefully ends tomorrow. Now, I've asked as pointedly as you can ask about how
Okay.
far this is going to go. And I had a meeting yesterday on it, and it sounds to me like it's the end. Now, that doesn't preclude a number of other issues that could happen around this, and those are unforeseen
Hmm.
at this point. I don't think there's ever a 100% guarantee on this issue, and I think that, after this, if we want to have an executive session again with legal on this issue, we probably should. But this is as far as I understand it. Now, we put 50 in there. I don't want to put any more than that in there. I think that there's some other ways too that we can cut back next year. I think one of the things, when we got into this was to do as much as we could to cut out of the budget, and I'm firmly
oh, sure.
on board with that. It's just that we're at a point now where I've done about all I can do with it. If you see that there's really some other things, if you want me to take the 3,000 out, want us to take the 3,000 out of water that we put in there, I can do that. If you want to take money out of the reserve funds, and if John agrees, and when we vote on that, we'll take 100,000 out of the reserve funds and stay before the tax cap. Certainly makes life simpler for us. I'm a little concerned about the amount of cash that's left.
Mhm.
The reserve funds, I think, several years ago probably exceeded what we held here. But the activities of the board for the last couple of years have taken it to a point I'm a little concerned that if we need a roof on this building or there's some other major expense, that we have to go out and look for money. And I certainly don't want to get into that situation. I don't know how much more we can cut back on the other activities here.
Even if the phones go down, you're looking at $40,000 or $50,000, right?
All right, and it's already a system that's not supported anymore.
No, a lot of that would be a cover under insurance, wouldn't it?
Not on a system that's old.
It's
I mean,
outdated.
It's outdated. It's beyond support. It's not under warranty. It's gone up.
Oh, I know
And
it's under
when
warranty, but
we called for support on it, they said, what did they say to us?
Sorry, can't do anything.
Sorry, you can't do anything. And yet we're paying $190 some a month for have the trunk line and have them manage it. So that's another place we need to look about. Can we do something? Can we do it cost effectively and get a newer system? There's a dozen issues like that or more.
no, you said the chips are going to be going up this year. How much?
Well, we raised it a little bit, but it's really, from what I understand, it's hard to tell exactly how much you're going to get. So we bumped it up a little bit in there.
Presumably it's going up, but there's no guarantees. They don't tell you until March.
And we haven't received that money yet.
Well, I still believe we can get underneath that cap, but
Well,
The only way we're gonna get underneath the cap is to take another $100,000 out, the reserve. And my personal feelings are I'm more than willing to discuss it with you. My preference is not to take it out because we had a couple of years where the taxes should have gone up and there was some slick bookkeeping going on. And I think that that message should be made clear to the taxpayers that we've minimized it as much as possible. Now, if you find that really objectionable, I'm willing to give.
raising taxes at all.
Yeah, I pay taxes too. Everybody
Yeah.
pays taxes. But
Yeah.
What we can't be responsible for is irresponsible fiscal behavior that's occurred for the past 2 years. It's putting us in a major bind here. Oh,
Yeah.
you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't, so.
How about, we decided what we're gonna do, whether legal or we're gonna stay with the same firm or?
I think that we are looking at options that we'll bring before the board.
Yeah, because, well, I know I was talking to Councilwoman Lehman and she said a lot of them bills that should have been covered underneath the retainer was not, and we were getting charged a lot of money out of there.
I'm-
And it's not her, it's not their attorney's fault, cause she
No.
don't do the billing, but I think, I don't know, I'd come up with something like, put a number out there and, include, all inclusive, whatever, that's all you're gonna get for the year, that's what I'm,
Well, the problem is when you run into something like the grievance, or you run into some other issue, you can't be certain that you don't need. We've got a couple things facing us, Ed, with these solar projects. You're gonna need some help that you probably can't get out of a local attorney.
Yeah, well, the solar, well, not with that, but the solar company is supposed to pay for
Supposed to
all
pay
that.
for those,
Oh, yeah,
yeah.
everything
And
to do with legal, they gotta cover that,
I understand that.
yeah.
But you also need to find an attorney that you can bring in for those kinds of things.
Well, yeah, we can still bring in a
But
land use attorney.
there are other times that you may need a good municipal attorney. Now, I'm not saying retainer, but we need certainly to look at that.
Mhm.
I'm all for changing. I think I've said that several times.
Right.
Those are things that we can do ongoing. That isn't going to impact this budget particularly because we haven't made those decisions nor have we changed anything. I think next year when we work on this budget, there are a lot of things that we'll know better because I'm not all knowing on this thing, as you can see, and I've spent a lot of time on it. It's not an easy issue when you start looking line by line,
Oh,
figuring
no.
out what's in here. And quite frankly, I'm the only one doing it at this point. John has come in to help, but nobody else is in here trying to go through line by line, you know. So I think over the next year, we're going to be in a much different place. We'll know exactly what's in the budget and what we can take out. I see your point on the water. Let's take the 3,000 out for the legal. Okay, but
But it should be, like I said, there should be 3,000.
it doesn't stay, you don't,
Oh, I know it doesn't stay there, but I
but
mean,
if you take it out of the budget, then you don't have it to spend. There's two different things, cash and
yeah,
the
but where,
budget. The budget,
like I'm
is-
saying, where does it go?
it goes into cash, but you just can't take that cash and throw it back in. The budget is law. Okay, this is
Yeah, I
how,
know that, yeah.
okay, and that's how you run the things. You can't just say, oh, we didn't take it. To bring more money in out of the cash that you didn't put in the budget is a pain. You know, you don't just say, oh, go to the bank and get another 100,000.
Well, I already explained, what I'm looking at is, we put 3,000 each last year, and we're gonna put another, that's 60 grand in each water district.
I understand, but we don't have that 60 grand. It goes into the reserve funds and it's not in the budget.
I think part of the thinking is, Ed, is to try to understand, to get our grips around the 14 water districts or whatever that number is,
Mhm.
and consolidate those funds somehow into a water authority. It shouldn't be this complicated, but that's going to take some legal and probably some engineering prowess that we don't have within the organization. So if we have to spend $6,000 per district to save a lot of money down the road, I guess I'm willing to take that risk, but.
If you take it out, and I understand why you're saying that, and I understand what you're looking for. The issue that I have is then if we go to hire somebody to do this, I don't have any money to do it. I don't care if there's cash in the bank. There's nothing in the budget to fund it. That's how it works. I didn't make the rules.
No, I know how it worked, but I don't understand why, it's a lot of money, I don't know. You're talking 39,000, it's 40, that's $80,000 in 2 years in water. And we're gonna tax the people for it. That's what bothers me.
Well, it bothers me, but I don't know what else to do about it. I'll take it out. But again, then you're stuck with no reserves, no funds in the budget to pay for somebody to actually sort water out. Because I don't have the horsepower to do it. And you aren't gonna
Oh, no,
have the horsepower to do
no,
it.
we gotta get an expert.
John
in here,
doesn't have the
sure.
time or the horsepower to do it. Okay,
Sure.
it's gonna take an expert to come in here and do
Yeah.
it. We have a mess.
I agree with that.
And if we don't, it's not me, if we don't have money in the budget, then we can't hire somebody. You can't just go to the bank and write a check out of the cash.
So how much of that contingency are we gonna use for legal?
I hope none.
50%,
I hope none.
so we can't cut that down at all either then.
Well, the contingency covers a number of things. We cut back the highway budget quite a bit. I hope there's nothing in there. I took that 20K out of the one thing that he asked for and put it towards something else. So the contingency, if we run into something like a shortage and the other thing we did this year too is we split up the salt and in the snow removal stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, if we're short in salt, we can use some of the contingency funds. So the contingency is not just there for legal. It's there, what about bookkeeping? What about if we don't resolve this whole bookkeeping thing and get it done?
So he,
Yeah,
he's got 50,000 in contingency in his highway, right?
it's not, yes, it's in what, DB?
DB, yeah.
Yeah.
But isn't
Again,
there,
It's in there to cover, there's contingency also in this townwide.
yeah,
That's for legal and for other things that we made. Here's part of the issue. Here's a lot of the issue. I'm not sure what's in a lot of these, where we stand on the budget year to date. We're still having stuff come in. I don't know what we've done with this budget. We've made these cuts that we're gonna be short. Don't know. And the contingency would allow us to cover those without having to try to do something else. The contingency in highway, it's not public, okay? The contingency in highway is for those areas that we may have made a mistake.
oh, yeah, like for salt,
Salt,
you got salt.
Fuel, things like that.
Oh, yeah.
Because we split it up differently this year. I'm hoping we have enough. We've already seen the trucks go out here in the last couple of days. The last thing we want to do is run out of salt,
No, that's for sure, I agree with that.
okay?
You want the legal fees to go up?
So the contingency is there in case. If we find that we can bring these things under control next year, I'm all for it. We can cut back some more. And I'm sure there is. I just don't know what to do about it with the knowledge that I have to this point, with the information that we've been able to put together, with what we've been left with.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean,
Okay.
we never got told about nothing either.
Well, I know. And there's still a lot that we all have, that I have to learn. I'm supposed to be putting the budget together. This is the best I could do.
So you don't think we can cut the illegal down a little more? Huh?
What if I cut legal down from the 50?
Well, 50 plus what you're gonna use in contingency.
Well, hopefully nothing out of the contingency.
Yeah. Now, you said that water or the legal in the water goes into the reserve fund?
It would, if it wasn't used, yes.
Yeah, that's a water reserve or water
Yes.
fund?
Mhm.
So what would that be used for then? I mean,
Well, you see already, if you look at your cover page, you'll see appropriated fund balance. That's what it's used for.
so it's going into the fund balance.
It goes in and then comes out, and we put it in that line, because you can't put property taxes on those. So in order to make those water districts work, we have to pull some out, and that's where it comes from.
Anybody else got anything to say or no?
it's just me and John, so I've said my piece, I guess.
No,
Up to John.
I said my piece. I'm willing to discuss with you if you don't want to go to the tax cap and pick another $100,000. I'm not in favor of that, but I'm willing to make that concession to get it done.
So where are we at with the? So you're roughly at 3.5 million.
Well,
Yeah,
if
no, I know what you mean.
we still got a lot of
Hopefully.
expenses coming in, I don't think we have that much myself personally.
Well, it's kind of like being in the ocean and being thirsty. There's water everywhere, but you can't drink it kind of thing. So. Those things are earmarked.
So how much did we take out of the reserve or so far? 100,000 you said you took out?
100,000.
Which fund would that come out of? Jim?
Well, it would come out of a DA and DB because that's
Yeah.
where we've put it. And those are getting thin.
There's 150.
No, I mean, if we took the 100,000.
That would come out of it would come out of DA and DB funds.
Oh, okay, down here.
So you're talking 250,000, so it'd be only 150,000 left.
Well, you could take the 100,000, you wouldn't put it certainly in the DA, DB. You would have to take it and put it like in the A or B in the general.
Townwide.
Yeah, it would have probably the A, probably because it has a little more cash in it, the townwide. But you're running pretty thin there too.
Well, I don't know. I don't like it, but
I don't like it either.
I don't like it either. And if
it would be, like I said, it'd be impossible. It'd be $1.5 million more to get down to no increase at all.
well, that's what they did the last few years. They took out $1 million a year. And beyond that, they took money and put it into fire that they shouldn't have, which lowered the fire tax.
You find out tomorrow. I want to make sure this arbitration is going to be final tomorrow or when they're done.
Well, I hope so too. We can find
Well, I want to make sure there's no appeal for anything because if there's an appeal, it's not coming out of the taxpayers. You know,
it has to. The problem, here's a question that I put towards the legal at the New York State Association of Towns.
Mm-hmm.
And they know chapter and verse when you talk to them. And I said, and my question was, since we have fiscal responsibility to the taxpayers to pay for these things, can we defund this legal effort? And the answer was no. So you cannot deny funds, unfortunately. I asked the questions. I went to Lori at the New York Association of Towns, and I asked it point blank. So
you can change funds after you can change the budget amend the budget after the first of the year, right?
not really. The budget is the budget. But once you make it final, it's like
But
there are
you can-
minor changes that you can make, and I think you have to go through. And I don't know the routine. To be honest with you, I've always been told there are ways that you can do some things, but they are limited, and you have to follow very strict rules about how you do it. I can't cite all those. I don't know all the rules, but it's not an easy thing, but it can be done. Moving money in between funds is forbidden.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
increasing the budget after you voted on it and made it is also
No, you can't
difficult.
do that either, huh?
Right.
I've been here 4 years, I've seen a lot, so.
I know.
So the lawyer explicitly said that there's no appeal, so.
That's what he told me. I will ask again that
We
question.
hire him for professional services, so I would say, then we should go by what he says.
I will double check with that again tomorrow and get the same
Yeah,
answer
that
again,
sounds
if
good,
that would
but-
make you feel better.
Yeah,
I
I'd like to
honestly
have
would,
to do that, I'd be, yeah.
because they're gonna be here. So, before our meeting tomorrow night, I should have an answer.
And the other thing is too, I would press to get a bill in 2025, so it doesn't screw up 2026. I don't know how quick they are with their billing.
Yeah, I don't know how we'll handle that, but yeah,
I don't
to
know,
get it in this year's budget.
they haven't been getting paid, so I don't know if they would, lately.
Well, they've gotten paid.
Yeah, I know. They're behind, though, holy shit.
I know we've been behind on a lot of things.
Yeah.
It's been a lot of phone calls.
Well, we've had a couple key people out too, which makes it.
Made it even more difficult. So how do you feel about the tax cap? Do you want to take the 100,000 out, or are you willing to, or are you gonna? That's a decision we have to make tonight, because tomorrow we have to vote on a local law,
Well,
and it's
I don't
gonna
know.
take 3 yeses. It can't happen with 2, and even if, and we're uncertain that we'll have anybody else.
Are you willing to vote for a tax cap?
Well, I know we can't get down to 0 increase, so, but I don't know if I can or not. Right now, it's a no, but
So no what?
I couldn't vote for a tax, cap override.
We
Okay,
exceed
so
the tax cap?
then the alternative is to move $100,000, one or the other.
No, we're gonna vote on it tomorrow, so
We've got to get this budget in by the 20th, and there's a lot of work I have to do on it yet before we get there. I'm just going to tell you, Ed, we have to make up our mind, because I can't spend any more time in here
no,
than I am already. And
I think last year we voted on the 19th, but I mean, it was, different circumstance.
little different circumstances.
So,
And I don't know what structure has to be in exactly to get this in a format to get it to the county. I haven't had time to go through that with them, so there's some work to be done on it yet.
so help me understand what your questions are so we can get them answered, because I'm not sure.
Well, just, a lot of it is putting more illegal in the water. I mean, I know it's gotta go into the reserve fund, what we put in last year, but the way, I told you, the way I'm looking at it, we'll be putting $6,000 in each one, 80 grand in 2 years into the water. And it's a crazy amount of illegal, as far as I'm concerned.
Well, it's not just legal, anytime you do a bona fide engineering study, the cash register starts at about $20,000. So if you're gonna have a legitimate company come in here and do analysis, so that 80,000 sounds like a lot of money, but in reality, you can eat that up pretty fast, so.
Now, that legal 80,000, is that, in the town-wide? It would be town, or no, it'd be just in the water district.
Just the water.
Yeah, so I don't want, affecting anybody in the village, cause they have nothing to do with it.
That's right.
Uh,
I'd like to see no tax increase. But I'll tell you, there's going to be a tax increase every year regardless of what we do. The expenses are going up astronomically on everything. Retirement. Some of the retirement went up 19.5% on us this year. Some went up 12.5%. And our revenues are not going up 19 or 12%.
well, that's gotta be addressed. I mean,
Well, if you can find more money and find more revenue, The county is struggling.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Okay, we only get a small taste of the uh, sales tax. That isn't going to get increased. It's been repeatedly asked over the years. Don't expect any more help from the county. We're on our own. And when you have expenses like salt that have gone in 5, 6 years from 30 something to $67 a ton,
Mhm.
you got retirement that every year goes up 10 or 12%. Healthcare doing the same thing for us,
Double digits.
double digits. So even if you took and cut this down every year, you're still going to have to increase the taxes some amount. Unfortunately, we've been left in a situation where it goes up more than I'd like to see it go up by far. I'll tell you that if they had let it go up a little bit each year, we wouldn't be in this situation. Part of the issue is that by doing what they did with the reserve funds, is that they dropped the tax cap on us. We would have been fine 2 years ago. We're not now.
No.
But in order to maintain services here, and those include keeping the roads clear, taking care of everything else in terms of the highway, taking care of the office here, you'll see it's not staffed heavily. I don't know where you're going to cut. And so unfortunately, the costs are going to go up every year, the taxes are going to go up every year, and it's a hell of a situation, but I don't know how to get around it. We'll have more time to comb through this thing for more savings, but I don't know that we're going to find enough to keep it at zero tax increase.
No, you're not gonna do that.
Nobody
No
is.
way.
Nobody is.
But, I mean, I've talked to quite a few landowners and, they don't want, they don't want their taxes raised, and then everybody complains when somebody with solar comes around and they sign up. Well,
Oh, I agree.
can you blame them?
No,
So
no, I can't, Ed.
So
I have
people are
to,
gonna have to change their, gonna have to change their, attitudes or something on some of this stuff because, you know,
it's unfortunate, but you're right. There isn't any other,
yeah.
we're going to be faced with those decisions. We've got one solar project coming up. The other's already done with the Hemlock Ridge. There's not much we can do about that. And I know that you're saying people don't want solar, but at the same time, farmers are looking at what they can get out of their land and farm, and somebody comes and offers them that kind of money,
Yeah.
puts them in a hell of a situation. I was with you on that meeting out
Yeah, yeah.
there. Yeah, I hear you. But
No,
unless we
I'm not
find
in
out the
favor.
face,
I'm not in favor of solar. I mean,
I know you're not.
it's a waste of a lot of land, but uh, these companies throw money. Like I said, nobody likes what's going on over in Genesee County, but if they get somebody in here with over 25 megawatts, you're not gonna be able to do nothing about it.
No, that's right.
So, 'cause I talked to the supervisor over there, and he said, well, you talked to him too, and
Yeah,
their hands are tied.
Yep.
So something's gonna have to give.
and it's the case all over the state. I don't know whether the state is pushing more stuff down on the county.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. The federal government has given New York State less, and it's going to be that way for the next few years at least. And that's going to come down, and unfortunately, it lands right on us. But at the end of the day, we have to figure out to provide these services and do it the most cost-effective way possible. The water is screwed up. I wish I knew how to fix it.
Yeah.
And if we did that, we wouldn't have to hire somebody. But I look at it and struggle with it, and I go, I have no idea how to fix this thing. And it's going to take somebody that does this for a living.
Oh, I agree with that for sure.
And it's going to cost us up front to get it done. And unfortunately, unless it's in the budget, I can't get anybody. We can't get anybody, regardless if there's cash in the bank.
Well, the issue, I guess, is whether to use another 100,000.
Comes down to that. And that's why I put the supervisor's report there, so you can see what the balances are.
I'm not in favor of it, but I'm willing to negotiate and agree to it from a philosophical standpoint.
So we got, like I said, we're gonna take the vote tomorrow to do it, if we're gonna do it, so,
I would really like to take the vote tonight. If you want us to do it, let's take a vote tonight, because then we gotta do the local law tomorrow. And then I wanna vote on the budget. I wanna get this done. So if you wanna do it, if that's what, I'll tell you at this point, if that's what it takes to get you to say yes, I'll vote for putting 100,000 in. And I'll talk to the lawyer tomorrow.
we can't vote tomorrow, let me think on it and see what we wanna do here.
You're running out of time, and I'm running out of
Yeah, I
time
know,
I'm
but
gonna
I
put
mean-
in here. You know, Ed, I'm about ready to give the job to somebody else, quite frankly. There's so much shit that's happened here since I walked in that door. People out ill, no organization.
Oh, no, I agree.
I've been through this budget
Yeah,
100 times. I think that you have to make a decision. That's what it's about. And I have emailed you daily
oh, yeah,
everything that I've done on this. This isn't out of the blue. It's what we're faced with, and unfortunately, we didn't get started on this until September. We should have started in June. That's not your fault. That's not my fault. It's not John's or Linda's fault, nor is it anybody else's in this room. We can stay below the tax cap by taking another 100 out.
so that'd take it down to 3.4 million altogether.
Well,
I mean,
what we think we have total in cash
Yeah.
and investments, what we think we have. Because the cash I'm uncertain of. I don't know that everything has come in. There's still a lot out there yet. We've got, this month and next. See, if you don't, tomorrow night, if we present the local law, and you decide not to exceed the tax cap, then we don't have a budget to vote on, because then I have to go back and change it to add that money to stay below the tax cap. And I'm willing to do that, and I think John has expressed, I don't want to speak for him, but he's willing, if we can get this resolved, to move it forward. If you add another 100,000, it would probably drop the outside tax rate about another 10 cents.
it'd be 40 or 49 cents. Or no, it would be,
It's currently 64,
yeah,
okay, total.
Yep.
It would be 54.
54.
That's rough numbers. These are tough decisions, Ed. I'm not trying to,
No, I know.
I'm not trying to push you. It's just, I wish I had better answers and a better way to handle this thing. I wish I'd had more time. I wish we'd had more money and we didn't have the mess that we have here. I wish that the files were such that we could reach into them and see what the hell actually was going on. There's a lot of I wishes.
Well, I don't know. I think we should get underneath the tax cap.
Okay.
I think we should get under the tax cap at least.
I'm willing to go along with it. I've stated my position.
I know I wanted a zero tax in, but that's never gonna happen. So at least we can get under the tax cap.
Who has a zero, who has no tax, who hasn't experienced expenses going up?
The way they managed it, Ed, was by taking so much money out. I mean, that's how they did it.
Oh, I know.
Sleight of
I
hand.
saw
We
it.
don't, I know, we don't have that luxury.
No,
I will, if you want to take a vote tonight to not exceed tax cap, and by moving it, I will move the budget and we will forego local law number 3 tomorrow and vote on the budget. And I'll read.
well, the way I look at it, it'll give us, you know, we may use that 100,000, but it'll give us another year to, and see what we can do. And if we have to do it next year and override it, then I guess we ain't got no choice. But I think
if we stay below it this year, I think we can pull enough out to stay. And what will happen if we stay just below it is that it will go up a little bit for us next year. That's how it kind of works. So if we increase taxes, but we don't exceed the tax cap will go up slightly, not a lot.
mm-hmm.
But maybe with the work that we do over the next year or the next 6 months, by June when we start this process again, we can stay under it again, and we cannot, hopefully, we don't have to increase the taxes anywhere near what we've done this time.
Yeah, I agree with that then.
You know, let's work
I mean,
on
as
it.
long as we get under it now, and then, like you said, we got a year to work on it or whatever, so that'll be, I could live with that.
Okay. Well, then I'd like to take a vote on not exceeding the tax cap by taking 100,000 out of the reserve funds and putting it in the budget I'll probably split it up between the A and B. I'll take a look and see what makes the outside goes down a little bit more, see what I can do with that.
Yeah, that'll be good, yeah.
Okay, and then we'll take it from there. So if we could have I'd like to have a motion a resolution to take 100,000 extra out of the reserve budget to stay below the tax cap.
Motion to, please repeat.
A motion to move 100,000 out of the reserve funds into the budget to stay under the tax cap.
Out of fund into budget. Okay, motion to move 100,000 out of the reserve fund and into the budget.
Into the budget to stay under the tax cap.
Okay. Got it.
Okay.
Yes.
I so move.
I will second the motion, in spite of my reservations, in the interest of making the budget work.
And I vote yes also.
I think she needs to do a roll call.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
Okay, I'm sorry. Hold on 1 second. Okay, roll call vote. Ed?
Yes.
John?
Yes.
Yes.
Motion carried.
And as a workshop, I don't know, do we need a motion to close the meeting on a workshop?
I can't remember now.
Me neither. Let's do it anyways, just to make sure. I make a motion to close the meeting.
I'll second it.
If I say no, we have to stay longer.
Yeah. I ain't staying, I'm out of here.
He's had enough.
Yeah.
John, what did you say? I didn't hear you.
Just mumbling.
Okay, got it.
Oh, yeah, we got to shut that off. Are we done?
Yes.
No, we didn't take a vote on closing the meeting, did we?
Going to take a vote on closing the meeting. I vote yes.
Yes.
Yes, let's get the hell out of here.